pause, look, and talk, have a lunch with the homie that doesn't know Jesus. Go grab coffee. I don't know if young people drink coffee. Go get, y'all don't have Dutch Bros out here. I can't say that. Dutch Bros? Y'all got Dutch Bros in Houston? Y'all like Dutch Bros? I love, I love Dutch Bros. Starbucks. I love Starbucks. Don't hate on Starbucks. I don't care. I lost my train of thought. Go get Torchy's tacos. Go get food. Go hang out. Like it's so practical. It's like, bro, grab a homie, grab an unbeliever, grab someone you don't know, grab a student you know you're struggling, grab someone who you don't know, and go get lunch with them. It's not that hard. Got it. Other thing is like if you're in school, go sit with a person that's sitting by themselves. That's not that hard. Like if you can't do that, you're whack. Okay, it's easy. Second thing is, someone say digital. If you have social media, I know you'll be posting on Snapchat, doing your streaks, bro. You can invite somebody to church. That's real. Y'all say you love Jesus, but y'all can't even share a post on your story. That's crazy. Like y'all talking about you love Jesus, but y'all can't share on Snapchat with your homie. Just be for real. Like it's not even corny. Just be like, come to church with me. It's easy as that. And I know church is kind of awkward sometimes. They be doing the bloop bloop thing. It's good. God's here. It's holy. He's gonna figure it out. We don't. Our job is not to save people. That's God's job. We just bringing people closer to Him, right? So, digital, share online, share your story, share posts, share. You don't even gotta share this church's post. Share Christian creators' post. Share something. Do something with your social media because you have people following you. Even if it's a little bit, it's something, right? Someone say something is better than nothing. And the third thing is just literally communications. How you talk. We need to talk with not cussing on every word. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk with positive intent. When people hear the words out of our mouth, is it loving? Is it kind? Is it approachable? Or is it degrading? Is it negative, right? Like, I gotta make sure my words are life giving. I want someone to leave a conversation with me and be like, okay, I don't know why he threw me so off, bro. I want to leave a conversation. He's like about to come and jump me, you know. I, I want to leave a conversation with you and feel like I gain life, right? And I think as a young person, it's so rare to talk to a young person and be like, I gain life from that person. So I want you to leave conversations and be giving life, right? I love this three things. So for when it comes to preaching the gospel, I got to study, I got to serve, and I got to share. I gotta study. We gotta read our word. We gotta watch our YouTube. We gotta lean in. We gotta read books. We gotta study about this gospel. There's a famous podcaster. I think his name's Alan22. I don't know if I'm wrong. Adam22. And he literally was talking on this podcast, huge platform, millions of followers. He's like, I'm an atheist, but if God was real, I would spend my whole life trying to find out about him. And I was like, this atheist guy got it right. Like, if God is real, he would be so interesting, right? If God is real, he would be the most interesting thing on the planet. The fact that he's out here controlling all of this, he made monkeys. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right? It's like the fact that if God is real, I would want to know so much about him. And I think a lot of us don't get the fact that, understand, because we have a bad view of God. We have this comfortable view of God. But if we knew God, how holy and how big and how crazy he actually is, we would want to spend our whole life studying him, right? So I hope we get a hunger to study. The second thing is we got to serve, right? We got to serve our neighbors. We got to make local missions for our junior high students. We got to make local missions, serve people who don't look like us, don't have as much money as us. We got to get our hands dirty. When we get our hands dirty, our hearts get hungry, right? When my hands get dirty, my heart gets hungry to love people more. I get my heart more hungry to serve and love the lost when I'm out there with poor people and realizing their stories and hearing what they're going through. Like, I get hungry to preach the gospel. And third is I gotta share. I gotta share my finances. I gotta share my time. I gotta share my resources. Like, give your money to some poor people. Buy somebody lunch. Like, it's the simple things I gotta share. Not just preach the message, but I gotta share time and resources. And the last one here, I love this. Visual, right? I gotta have convictions. One thing we haven't taught is like strong convictions. I don't listen to the same music. You feel me? Like, I don't watch the same things you watch. I don't live the same way you live. I don't talk the same way you talk. I don't follow the same IG models you follow. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I don't follow no one. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. But I don't do the same things because I have convictions. Because I've met the Spirit of God and I have strong convictions on my life that are not loose. And when people see my convictions, and see that I'm living for holiness and I'm not flirting around with sin. I'm not watching certain Netflix series. I'm not listening to certain songs. I know this is probably old school, but I'm down, you know what I'm saying? But I want my convictions to be strong so people know the Jesus that's in me, I'm not playing around with this Jesus. And I think a lot of leaders need this, even small group leaders. You have small group leaders who are leading 3 or 4 kids. Like, they need to have strong convictions. They got to look like their life follows Jesus. The second thing is I got peace. When something crazy happens in my life, I'm still. I'm calm. I remember like recently my baby just went to the hospital for a croup when like a bunch of mucus gets stuck in her throat. So gross, right? But like after they're done with that, like boogers. It's like everywhere. It's all the time. It's a constant flow of boogers. It's gross, right? But I remember him going to the hospital and my friends were like confused why I was so chill. They're like, I would be freaking out right now. I said, it's because I got peace. I know who has my story. I know the writer of my story. I know who has the pen. And I think a lot of us, when something crazy happens in the world, a lot of people freak out. During the pandemic, everyone was tripping, and the church was chill. We're at peace. We know our story. We know the writer. We know who's there. So we got to have peace. And the last thing, someone say last thing, is I got to have fruit. Someone say fruit. Someone say banana. I don't know, let's pick the fruit. All right. We got to have fruit. I love the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians. Am I walking in kindness? Am I walking in gentleness? Do I walk in self-control? I don't know all of them, but there's a multiple of them, right? I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I don't work in church, so. What's that? I'm Gen Z. Yeah, I barely know the Bible. So, but, but the fruit of the Spirit, these things is our measure as believers. And I think for all of us, if we're young people, in Galatians, we can see the fruit of the Spirit, read those, look at those, study those, go hard on those, because those fruit will speak of the faithfulness and the love of Jesus. When I walk in self-control, when I walk in kindness, when I walk in gentleness, when I walk in these things, we'll see the fruit of Jesus. So, this is it for my presentation. If you have, I'll take like what, 2 questions, 2 or 3 questions. If you have any questions about Gen Z, questions about social media, anything like that, I'll take any questions and then we'll grub. Cool? Any questions in here? Anyone? No one? Right there? You have a question? Nope, you didn't have a question. Anyone? Furman? If not, we're cool. I'm ready to eat. Oh, okay. What's up? I mean, I'm ready to eat right now, so what's up? A little snack. Anything? What's up? Yeah, they're fairly similar, but millennials wanted a church that was relevant, and Gen Z wanted a church that is real. And what I love about millennials is that they found that balance of like being fully themselves and loving Jesus, and that's going to be the key is true authenticity to a generation. Like the ones that are corny and dressed like corny are not going to relate, but the ones that are like I'm just being myself. I love the church. I was totally hurt by it. My life was abused by it, but I love it still. Like those guys are gonna kill it with Gen Z. So I think it's a being real, being authentic. That's what millennials kind of brought into the church slowly, and that's what Gen Z craves, an authentic church. So, yeah, yo,
How do I do when my friends aren't like believers? Can I still be friends with them, or how do I associate my lifestyle?
yeah. Jesus was our friend. So chilled. Jesus chilled with sinners, but didn't become like sinners, right? So Jesus came to change, but not just to chill and hang out, right? Like he hung out with them, but he didn't become them. And I think a lot of the issues that we do at the church, we're like, yeah, Jesus hung with sinners, so I'm gonna go turn up tonight. Like that's not. Come on, bro. He hung out with sinners to be the difference, not to become them. And that's the difference. If your friends who are not believers are starting to change you and you not change them, you need to make distance, right? Don't start saving people when you're barely saved yourself. You know what I'm saying? Work on you, build your faith, build your convictions, build your life, and then build the other people, right? So, anybody else? Yeah, so I would start, this is weird, but I start in Ephesians because Ephesians talks about who is Jesus, how do you get to Jesus, and what is life after Jesus. So I would study Ephesians 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll go back into Luke. I think Luke's the best gospel because, not the best, okay, it's not the best gospel, but I think it's the best gospel for like unbelievers because everyone else had like this Jewish religious context. Luke was just a doctor trying to help his boss tell the story of Jesus, right? So he writes his book to his boss like this is the gospel, and he gives a clear, detailed description. So Ephesians kind of clears out how do we get to Jesus, what's the benefits of Jesus, and how do you behave after. And Luke just tells a story. So that's what I would start like. I remember with my homies, I had 5 homies who would meet at Starbucks at 6 a.m. and we would read Ephesians. And these guys, some of these guys are in ministry today. It's crazy, but non-believers becoming believers, and it's just Ephesians for me. So, but Leviticus, Deuteronomy. Let's talk about the blood sacrifice. Who was it? Who had a question? Go ahead. One is I would study their religion to know what they believe, and then I would know what's going on with them personally too. So have a relationship with them. So one, study their religion. Two, have a relationship with them, and three, know the difference between what you believe and what they believe, and that difference is gonna help them bring in. I led one Muslim person to Christ before in an Uber, um, and his whole issue was why did God die on a cross, right? Like if he's God, why did he die? That's weird, right? And we had this conversation, beginning to tell him like it's because he was the only God willing to die, right? Like willing to be humble enough to die. Dude started breaking down in the Uber. You know what I'm saying? And because the Bible tells us that Jesus went through every single thing that we went through, meaning he had to go through death, right? To know what we went through. So, anyways, it's like knowing their religion, knowing them, and knowing the difference. Those three things. So, especially like Muslim, I feel like Buddhism and atheism are kind of like the easier ones because there's nothing. But when it comes from a cultural background, like you grew up in it, that's kind of harder. But that's why you guys have a relationship with them and be like, okay, I can see what you're actually going through, bro. And here's the answer. Your religion is not giving the answer. Jesus is the answer, right? So, but yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, so I think people who, especially if they grew up in church and they left, I think there's two scenarios. There's the people who grew up in church and never really met Jesus. So you have to start fresh, where it's like your life, your relationship, that's going to help bring them back. But then there's the ones who got hurt by church. And that's a whole nother thing. And I think that has to start with building trust with leaders again in the church and understand that Jesus is still in his church, but people are still there. I have a lot of family members who don't know Christ, who are gang members and stuff, and multiple of them came to know Jesus based off of the fruit of my life. They started saying, "Oh, what is this guy preaching everywhere? Blah blah blah. Like, why are you posting about worshiping on Sunday morning? Like, why do you look happy?" And that's when conversation started. And you'll start seeing people open up. Like, I grew up in church. I didn't know Jesus because I had these wounds happening at home, stuff like that. So really it's like really digging in relationship with that family and being intentional and saying, hey, I want to hang out with you. But you yourself like have to have fruit in your life. And so people can see visually like you really love Jesus. Things are really happening for you. And that's gonna question people are gonna question it. And that's when it opens up for conversation. Has one of my family members get saved on the DMs on Instagram. On Instagram DMs. He said, you were posting, Drake one day, and now you're here talking about elevation worship. Like, what's going on with you? Like, you were posting about this, dressing like this, and now looking like this. Okay, quick story, and then we'll close. But I remember when Brian knew me since I was a kid. Shout out to Brian. But I remember, like, I used to dress with, like, Jordans and, like, Dickies. Like, that was my style for a little bit. Because I wanted to be a thug so bad. That's what I want. I just wanted to be young thug. Just that's my heart. That's what I wanted to do. I remember getting saved, meeting Jesus, and telling my mom, like, take me to Forever 21 and get me the fruitiest clothes. Like, I want to look fruity. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I don't want Jordans. I want Toms. And I'm not kidding. You're a witness. You see me wear Toms. He's a witness. I went from wearing Jordans to wearing Toms. Like, so when I went back to school that summer, no one saw me. The dude who wore Dickies and Jordans is now wearing skinny jeans and Toms. There was a literal visual difference of my life. I literally became a new creation. And people were like, this is weird. What happened to you? And that's what really started opening up the gospel. I started a club in my high school where we had 60 kids come to know Jesus in a classroom. all because I went from like literally Dickies to Toms. You know what I'm saying? From Jordans to Toms. So everyone buy Toms. But that's it. Hey, I love you guys. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Furman. Shout out to Pasadena. I love you guys. See you soon.
Appreciate you, bro. Let's go. How many like that? That was good, right? Who's ready to be a difference maker and be different, right? Be different at work, be different at school, at your house, even in your own family. Sometimes you have older siblings, younger siblings, and you just got to be a little bit different than them. So we're gonna give a 10-minute break. So you can go, if you didn't get donuts, you can get donuts. We still got some bread, we still got some coffee, we got some sodas on the other side. We're gonna give a 10-minute break. We're gonna go chill, and then we're gonna come back for second conference. And then after that, we're gonna have tacos. So stay around. We got tacos. The hermanitas are going hard in the back again. Oh no, I think it's hermanos. It's hermanos today. Some hermanos today. We gave the hermanas that took the day off. You know, they gotta chill on Saturday. So yeah. So we're gonna take 10 minutes. We're gonna go. We're gonna get something to drink, get some water, get some donuts.